Have you ever felt completely stuck? No matter what you do or what you try, it all just seems to end in constant failure over and over and over again. If you do, that makes two of us. When I think back to it, I still think it's bonkers how such a trivial thing like a video game could teach me so much about myself that I hadn't figured out in 25 years of existence, which is exactly the year of my life when I started playing it for the first time. Dark Souls. When I first picked this game up, I didn't think much of it. I knew it was really well known, I knew it was supposedly hard, but I just thought it might be something fun to play, seeing as I had a pretty bad laptop at the time that couldn't really run most games, so I kept resorting to older, more accessible ones. And I remember looking at this list online of games that were supposedly the top must-play games of all time, and I remember seeing Dark Souls up there, and that got me really intrigued. You know, innocent younger me, a guy who shut himself away with video games to numb the sting of reality, booted it up for the first time. My first impressions was that the controls themselves were quite clunky. I didn't play on a controller, so the entire combination of keys to swap weapons or even perform power attacks was so weird to me. And the kicking, man, like the kicking was such a tight input of keys, I always kept messing it up, and it kept getting me killed. At the beginning, I didn't feel like I was necessarily dying because the game was hard. I felt like I was fighting the controls more than anything else. After a while, I get to the first boss in the Undead Asylum, and that's when I first faced that sense of dread you feel in a Dark Souls game. You're in a closed arena with nothing to help you or to save you. The music is scary and loud. You can't even hear yourself think, and the boss is doing a ton of damage to you with a very large and what I thought at the time to be a very unfair hitbox. Of course, I failed the plunge mechanic at the start. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out the timing to actually press the attack button. But after I did, things got much easier. And I'll be honest with you, being in that arena with that music, it spiked my heart rate and gave me a bit of anxiety, but I pulled through in the end and was quickly dropped off at Firelink Shrine. For those of you that don't know, this is the game's hub, or home base, whatever you want to call it, and it made me feel safe and warm for a change, unlike the rest of the game until now, which was very unwelcoming. I pressed on, wandered into the graveyard, and got absolutely obliterated. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Suddenly I was just questioning myself, am I just bad or am I just going the wrong way? The scariest thing about that moment wasn't necessarily the dying, it was the uncertainty. I don't know how many of you feel the same way as I do, but every time I died, I was losing my souls, and I felt like I was losing progress and potentially getting weaker. I felt like I was gimping myself. It felt like I just wanted to reset the game and create a new character because of it. I stopped playing at this very moment. There were no arrows, no aids, no tips, no minimap. It was just me and this world I was alone to figure out. I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and went to class. I was in college at the time, and I remember I couldn't stop thinking about Firelink Shrine. There were so many ways to go, areas I couldn't access yet. It felt like a maze. It was more overwhelming than my biochemistry class, and that's saying something. I got back home that day and sat at my desk looking at my screen for a few minutes. I remember thinking to myself, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, this is just a game. Why does it make me feel so scared to pick it up? And then it hit me. It's the uncertainty. The same uncertainty that had plagued me for most of my adult life was here, present in the form of a video game. There was no hand-holding, much like no one's ever been there to hold mine as I got older. And that's when I double-clicked the game and booted it up again. I felt anger at myself as I forced myself to play it as if I had something to prove to myself, that I could indeed win this battle against myself, this inherent fear I had of the unknown. There are 2 key moments in this game that I'll never forget. And no, they're not the big boys themselves, Ornstein and Smo. By the time I got there, I felt like I was a seasoned veteran at this game that enjoyed getting his ass whooped, a true Souls masochist. The first moment is that damned Capra Demon fight. I remember being so excited going through that fog for the first time. You know, what epic boss could this be? What huge arena could I be stepping into? And my face just turned pale. Firstly, at the size of the arena, it was incredibly claustrophobic and terrifying. There was barely any room to roll. Secondly, not only was I fighting Capra Demon, but I was also fighting two dogs, which were incredibly quick and annoying. And I immediately got pounced on by all three of them and died. I was dumbfounded. What the hell was this? How is this fair? I thought to myself. How is anything in life fair? Unfair things happen to us all the time, or maybe that's just something we tell ourselves to avoid taking any blame or responsibility. Just because something's unfair, does that mean we should just give up? What's stopping us from using all the tools we have at our disposal to beat whatever situation we're in? I have a couple of heavy armor pieces on me, including a helmet I got off of twin gargoyles, and even this shield. And oh, here's a ledge I can bait the mobs to and kill them one by one. And just like that, Capra Demon was dead. And not because I got help, not because I gave up, but because I used the tools at my disposal and used my surrounding to take advantage. Now you may be wondering, I did mention that two situations stuck with me, the Capra Demon fight being one of them. What could the second one be? Blighttown. Blighttown to me was the turning point for me in this game. If I was ever unsure if I was ever going to be able to beat it, I was sure now. For those of you who've never experienced this place, let me set the picture, okay? You just finished climbing up to the tallest point in the game and you feel on top of the world. You just rang the first bell of awakening. You need to ring 2 to open up the next area of the game. The second bell of awakening is deep underground. You've just went down into the depths and fought your way through giant mice, through these little frog-like creatures that one-shot you with this poison mist. And of course through this huge gaping dragon. And what is your reward from all of this? Well, it's time to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Answer A, a Bell of Awakening. Answer B, a cool weapon. Answer C, lightning armaments for your weapon. Answer D, a key that leads to Blighttown, a town even deeper underground, darker, more obscure, more oppressive and sad, and devoid of sanity. That's right. Your reward for braving through all this was even a worse place. There was no salvation here, not yet, not for you the player. This was your reward. More helplessness, it was dark, it was hard to maneuver, there were monsters shooting poison darts at you everywhere you went, and when you finally got to the bottom, what was there to greet you? A poison swamp. Everywhere you walked, life was sapped from you every second, reminding you that your life was ticking away every second you were down there, making you have to get wherever you need to get fast, but how could you? The swamp also slowed you down. So everything in here was out to kill you. You are not safe, not anywhere. You're never safe anywhere you go. The moment you feel comfortable, that's you in Firelink Shrine. That's you in the safety and warm embrace of a bonfire. That's not you delving into the depths, going through Blighttown on your way to ringing the Bell of Awakening. That's not you progressing in life. The discomfort, the progress, the swamp, the poison, those are the hardships in life. Those are all obstacles that you overcome each and every day in discomfort in order to achieve your goals and to get where you want to be in life. Me making this video is me rolling around in the swamp. I'm poisoned right now, walking towards my goals, and I'll go through a million more Blightowns if I must. My question to you is, will you? Thank you so much for watching yet another one of my videos. Feel free to leave some feedback down below for me if you enjoyed it or disliked it. Tell me how I can improve. Consider subscribing so you don't miss my next one, and take care.